Hi, welcome to Hyperion Hype Club. My name is McKenna and I love the Kingdom Keepers books by Ridley Pearson. Join me as we discuss this series and others published by Disney-Hyperion Books. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Hyperion Hype Club. We are going over Kingdom Keepers Disney After Dark, chapters 12 through 16 today. Probably a shorter episode than usual. Or than the other two so far. Let's just go over the highlights reel. A lot of important stuff happened in this section, I feel. So after the virtual Magic Kingdom meeting, the keepers crossed over into the park all together for the first time. And then we find out that Walt had a secret hideaway in Cinderella Castle, and they had to take these Wonderland-esque stairs to get there. And like kind of run one wrong step and you're screwed, basically. We learn more about the Stonecutter's Quill fable. So the keywords are sun, cloud, wind, and stone. So the kids have to figure out where like those are basically the main clues. They have to figure out something for each of those clues, and the order of them is important. And they also have to figure out why Walt added Quill, because I think it was originally just like Stonecutter's fable or something. And then we find out, like, obviously the keepers, like we've discussed before, have been selected for a reason and for certain traits. And Wayne shares those traits: intelligence, athleticism, artistry, and computer knowledge. And it seems like everyone's kind of a mix of all these. There's no like one for each, because there's also obviously 4 traits listed and there are 5 keepers. Obviously Finn was also chosen to be for his probably leadership ability or capability. And then they find out, so the fainting from the last episode was a technical problem with the park DHIs at the same time. And that was possibly because of the overtakers. So we get a bit more of an explanation for that. After Wayne left Walt's secret hideaway through the hidden floor chutes, which was just kind of like, he was just gone out of nowhere. Okay. That, I don't know. That just felt weird to me. The kids see that he left the clicker, or the fob as they end up calling it, which just basically returns them to bed, returns them to their normal bodies, I guess. They're no longer half human, half DHIs in the park that night, basically. And then the kids have their TP meeting, and the TP's off the railway, the Walt Disney Railroad. The TP's off those. And that's at like the back of Frontierland. So they talk more. They think sun, cloud, wind, and stone refer to things found in original attractions. Obviously original because Walt had some role in kind of deciding those original attractions. And obviously people like Wayne would make sure that they got built after Walt passed. Roy too and stuff. His brother. And later on they go and they investigate a sun option. But what do you guys think might be cloud, wind, or stone attractions? Because when I first thought it through, because again, it's been over 10 years since I read this book. Not everything is going to stick, just kind of like the general gist. But my first thought for sun was Splash Mountain, because in Zippity Doo Dah, it's like plenty of sunshine coming my way. And I feel like if I remember correctly, there's like that big sun after the drop with like the boat scene and everyone singing. And then I thought Small World would be cloud, which they pick Small World for sun later. So I just remember there are a lot of clouds. I don't know. And I don't know if the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was original. Um, Dang, was it? Because I was thinking that for Wind, because Pooh is riding around. Okay, the Many Adventures. Okay, never mind, because that opened in 1999. And then Stone, I don't like an original attraction doesn't come to mind. What comes to mind is the Sword in the Stone. But I don't know. What are your guys' guesses? In the TP meeting, they also discuss going back to kind of like the fainting thing, that a bit of DHI must stick with them when they cross back over to their like human physical body. So they need to find a way to control themselves rather than be controlled, if they can ever be controlled from a server in their regular bodies. And then we meet our first major overtaker, Maleficent. Um, and she is associated with the cold many times, many times. We also meet Jez, who later at Finn's house, her and Amanda clearly know each other. I'll just, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we meet Jez, pale, dark hair, stuff like that. Yeah, and like that was so weird how she just showed up at Finn's house. It's just so creepy, and obviously Finn was creeped out by it too. But yeah, it just makes me like, not sure I like this at all. And knowing where he lived, oh, that's weird. That's weird. Okay. Ooh, Maybach then said this quote later. I believe it was when they were at the Wide World of Sports in the locker room. But Maybach said, if we can cross over to there, who says they can't cross over to here? Weird. And something to keep an eye on. And then Finn's dad said there have been more like random break-ins. So welding shop was missing some gear, and police storage room was missing some handcuffs. So obviously at this point we're like, oh, that's the overtakers after the whole hardware store padlock situation. And like I mentioned earlier, they choose Small World to represent the sun, so they try to figure that out. And so when they arrive Small World, your worst nightmare happens. The dolls came to life. And if it wasn't your worst nightmare before, now you will never look at the ride the same. Coming from someone who read this again over 10 years ago and still doesn't look at the ride quite the same as I did before reading this. But also, who doesn't think that that could possibly happen one day? But they also learn that smiling will help defeat evil. Wow. Because a smile means friendship to everyone. Okay. Now on to just like comments or whatever. Something we learned was that the holograms are programmed to project inside most attractions, which is why they were able to ride like Small World and stuff when they were in their DHI-ish form. Amanda was at Finn's for dinner. She met his parents. So cute. Just a little middle school romance. Also snaps for Amanda being a vegetarian. Me too, girl. Me too. Also, I honestly don't remember her being in the first book this much or like at all. So, like, okay. But yeah, there's just so much that I did forget. And so I'm really glad I'm rereading this and talking to you guys about it. Or if anyone is even listening. Um, okay, something else to keep an eye on. Finn thinks that the timing of Amanda becoming his friend is curious. I mean, yeah. Okay, when they're in the Wonderland-esque staircase, it is the quote or whatever saying that Charlene said at the end of our first section. So at the end of what, chapter 7 or in chapter 7 or something. She said it isn't safe. That is brought up again on the Wonderland-esque staircase. And speaking of that, I had heard of MC Escher before, but like I wasn't quite sure who it was. So if you're on YouTube, I'll share my screen. Okay, so MC Escher was a Dutch graphic artist, and one of his famous things is this relativity artwork. It depicts a world in which the normal laws of gravity do not apply. And so pulling it up right here, yeah, like that is just a great visual. Or if you like, you can pull up relativity if you're on your phones, at least if you're not driving right now. But yeah, that is a great visual of what this Wonderland esque staircase must have looked like on the way to Walt's secret hideaway. So I just thought that was interesting to share, and I just wanted to look into it because I was a little curious, and I'm sure some of you were too. Because yeah, that name's familiar, but like doesn't always mean I know really who they are or what they did, what they're known for. Also, if you're watching a YouTube video, that's Steph Curry, the kitty cat. Okay, and then another thought that crossed my mind. There are so many iconic Imagineers, Disney legends like Joe Rody, Mary Blair, etc. So I was thinking that Wayne couldn't become a Disney legend or iconic Imagineer because he needed to not be overcome by fame or recognizable to carry out Walt's plans for him. I don't know, maybe. Okay. Finn's Virtual Magic Kingdom avatar was wearing brightly colored jams and a light blue shirt. So this isn't the first time we've heard of a character wearing brightly colored jams, which I pulled up pictures of those in the first episode, because that bully kid was wearing it, but he was wearing it with like a navy and maroon jersey. So I just want to say props to Finn for knowing that light blue shirt probably goes with those shorts. Much better, much less clashing. Okay. And speaking of Virtual Magic Kingdom, it just reminded me of like nostalgic websites to go on as a kid. I was never really a Virtual Magic Kingdom kid. But I played like Pixie Hollow, Club Penguin, Webkins, Neopets, Millsberry, which feels so random because I feel like no one ever talks about it. Pop Tropica, and then the iconic Inner Star U by American Girl. If anyone else played Inner Star U, I think it was up like 2010, 2011, and then closed toward the end of 2015. I did look it up yesterday. I mean, I knew it was closed, but I was like, why did it shut down? I loved Inner Star U. I really did. Even though I was like preteen and teenager when like or young teenager when I played it, it was just it was great. And no one ever talks about it. So I just want to know if you guys ever played Inner Star U in computer lab in elementary school, like when we were not doing our work. Everyone would just get on Millsberry. And then we'd make plans to like meet up on a certain Club Penguin server, like in the dance hall or whatever after school. Ugh, fun times. If there are any others that I'm missing, like please, like go on the YouTube video, chat in the comments. Let's reminisce. Obviously, I love nostalgia. I'm doing a podcast on a nostalgic book series for me, so and then this week I don't have nearly as many random questions as I usually do. So Finn's dad's name is Donald. I'm just wondering if that's a coincidence. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. Why say the chest that Finn was sitting on when like he and Amanda were on the Virtual Magic Kingdom? They said the chest he was sitting on had a model train set in it. So like obviously Walt Disney loved trains. So I'm wondering if it's just a fun Easter egg or if it's some kind of plot device for later, or maybe both. I don't know. Okay. And then, so if did they leave the fob in the castle? And if so, are they never mention like when, like after the TP meeting or Small World, like, oh, let's go back to the castle for the fob, or like, because they have to go all the way to like it seems like a Main Street gift shop or something in order to get up into the secret hideaway. Um, so like, are they always going back there for the fob even after their Maleficent encounter? Like at the very back of Frontierland, like they really want to go through the whole park, like, well, basically to the other side of the park almost. Like I would be way too scared to do that. But they don't mention like that in any way. I don't know. Again, random question. But yeah, that is all I have for this week's episode. The next section will be chapters 17 through 23. So yeah, guess that's all that I have. Thank you guys for listening. Again, please leave any kind of comments. Let's chat up a storm on those YouTube comments. Rate, review, subscribe, follow. My Disney Instagram account will be linked will be posted in the description. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, and follow. Also, please chat with me and other members of this club in the comments of the YouTube video. My other social media information and a link to the Long Distance Sisters podcast I am also part of will be below. Back in a whack.